Have you ever been too exhausted to climb and then hurl yourself over a ledge, despite the peace that lies beneath? Have you ever wondered if it's even worth your effort to scrape dog feces out from the grooves of your shoe, if you're inevitably just going to step in more anyway? Have you ever spent 7 hours staring out your living room window, wondering why your family won't stop screaming, only to be told by police that you are inside someone else's home? If this all sounds too familiar, you may be under the influence of a powerful sedative known as spaghetti. This highly delicious and saucy substance can cause drowsiness, impaired focus, slowed reflexes, and even brown stuff to fall out of your body. Spaghetti-related accidents caused more deaths last year than the Holocaust. You may say those statistics aren't comparable because World War II ended the Nazi regime almost 8 decades ago. But you'd be right, and that fabricated number doubles when mixed with the already perilous pages of the internet. Nowadays we live our lives online, and while this disconnected disorientation can be a blessed distraction from consciousness, beware, when you dine with spaghetti, you dine with danger. Therefore we present the following internet trash show as an example of how a night online with friends can turn into a nightmare on life with death. While what you are about to witness may shock and bore you, we show it to you only as a warning. This is what awaits those who choose to internet with spaghetti.
MaJaMa. MaJaMa.
Star Crash.
Welcome to MaJaMa Jams, a show where we discuss movies over steaming hot piles of spaghetti. Not seen here, because they're in our belly. As we attempt to feed off a food coma after a massive cheese-covered pile of pasta prepared by Chef Molinari has been gulped down, this week we are discussing Star Crash.
Star Crash.
Star Crash.
From the vaults of Mr. Roger Corman, a.k.a. a god walking on Earth.
Yes.
Not directed by him, however.
No, this one was directed by Louis Coates, pseudonym of Luigi Cozzi, an Italian writer and director.
Did they change to sound more American?
Yes. Oh. They started in the 70s. It's from the spaghetti western and stuff like that. If you start to have names that are English or American sounding, you could fool people better.
Because everyone hates foreigners, right?
Yes. No, because they were saying, oh, this is not a classic Italian crap. It's something different.
This is American shit.
This is American, exactly. And Star Crash is probably the most famous clone of Star Wars, if you will. In the whole, after Star Wars became Star Wars, because when it came out, there were a lot of imitations here and there and everything. And this one is probably the one that has the best reputation.
I think that it actually went, like when we watched Italian Star Wars? Turkish Star Wars. Obviously that was...
Wait, is that the actual name? No.
No, it's a name that is translated like the savior of the universe or something like that.
You're thinking of the Passion of the Christ.
But it has been... Yes. But it has been, let's say, re-Christianed, going with that, as a Turkish Star Wars.
So that one is literally footage from Star Wars interspliced in. So it was kind of from the opening shot that once again rips off the iconic Star Destroyer underbelly.
Yes.
I expected to be the same, but I will say I think it actually completely went away from that, and I didn't even see it at the end as a Star Wars ripoff. Now, I don't know when I thought I might start with this, but there's something in also this Blu-ray comes with a 12-page booklet with pictures and an essay, which is a lost art form, and we've often discussed how nowadays there's no booklet whatsoever. Yeah. Sometimes there's even one of those stupid coupons inside. It's just a blank case.
What do you mean by essay?
It's an essay by Stephen Romano, acclaimed screenwriter, author, and artist whose many works include the... Okay, no one cares about that. But, I'm sorry.
Fuck Stephen Romano.
No, it's fine. Stephen, you're awesome because your words are great. Now, in the middle of this movie, I had a thought, which is I fucking hate the asylum, and I fucking hate people who intentionally want to make bad movies. Here is why. Did I bookmark the proper place? Yes, I did. Okay, so. And while Luigi, the director, doesn't always hit his mark, mostly due to the compromised nature of the film's production, his intentions and aspirations are never in doubt. Riding through the galaxy on a wing and a prayer, singing praises to your masters in a style of your own, can be the most noble of pursuits, so long as you are sincere, so long as you really mean it. Luigi means it. His film has soul, people. It really does. Now, here's why I wanted to read that. It's because we've said what has to happen for so bad it's good to be true is honesty. Absolutely has to be honesty. The only reason The Room works is because Tommy believed he was making a good movie. If someone else, and people have, came in to try to intentionally make a piece of crap, it would come across as cynical, lazy, and probably the most cardinal sin of all with the movie, boring. Horrifically boring. So that perfectly sums up why all these asylum movies that are like, oh, like the back indicates what a schlocky, like cult, beloved cult, lo-fi fest this is. But there's heart and there's passion, and even the little clip you showed us of the director showed that he loved sci-fi in that. So that, to me, I want to be the springboard for this thing, because I thought this was a gorgeous piece of work.
I love this movie.
That was goddamn near B-movie porn, miniatures porn, lighting porn, cheap special effects porn, stop-motion porn, like everything was Hasselhoff porn.
In his prime.
With the mascara and then the gorgeous hair.
We owe you our lives. Now maybe, with your help, we can still find the Count's Phantom Planet. Let's go aboard your ship and continue on at once.
There's no need to continue.
Have you gone crazy?
But this movie is just an orgy, a feast of love and how a B-movie should be. I don't even know where to start, because I felt like every frame, every set.
Let's start from the beginning with the story.
Moving on.
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you tell us, as we watched, why it's such a shaky plot?
Allegedly, the movie was written before Star Wars became a thing. And it was more close to the Ray Harryhausen Sinbad adventures than to the Star Wars that now we all know and love.
Guardian, take my revenge. Kill them.
Look!
Whoa! Run for your life! There! That narrow pass is in the rocks! Come on, Stella! Run! Tails!
One of the producers was not interested at all in doing that version before Star Wars became Star Wars, and as soon as that happened, went back to the director and said, I want to do Star Wars. And so he adapted this story, trying to mimic some stuff, some elements of Star Wars.
Without having seen it.
without having seen it, but just having read the book penned by George Lucas.
I had no idea that it was a. Was that maybe one of the selling? How he tried to sell it? Or
Probably. I don't know. That's a very good question. I have no idea.
Because it was originally a script, and then he novelized it himself.
Yes. I remember that in Italy, the book came out simultaneously with the movie, so I don't know. And then instead, apparently here it came out way before that. And that was the origin of that. They did some adaptation, but the producer was adamant on titling Star Crash. And there were no crashes in the movie, so they added this ending where the floating city, which happens before Cloud City or whatever it's called in Empire Strikes Back, crashes into
the Pride City.
So the story is kind of like non-existent. Is this female protagonist who moves in various planets
in bikinis.
In
amazing bikinis.
Yes.
Very pronounced collars too.
Yes, I noticed that. And also
what's the point? I mean,
there was like a back butt piece when they had a scene of all three of them behind. It almost looks like a diaper-esque.
They all had thongs. All had some sort of piece of a thong to connect to the costume.
Yes.
Like what?
It was very well.
What do you think strapped in for?
It was very bizarre, and so she has to go from one planet to another to find 3 crashed spaceships.
That's where the crash comes from.
Well, that would be a Star Crashed, because they did crash before the movie.
Our plane
crashed. Exactly.
Our plane crashed.
It crashed.
In fact, the whole movie is a loving Valentine to everything that has gone before. But this was Luigi Cozzi's intention. He's not trying to put one over on us. He's honoring us. He's telling us that we don't have to grow up. He's winking and nodding and laughing like a kid in a candy store. Now, what I would like to say about the lack... My words, exactly.
Very articulate.
Looks like a porn, right?
Yes.
I mean, totally 70s. I mean, yeah.
I'm sure many people have jacked off to it. So, what I think is worth noting about the lack of a plot is that the entire time we watched this, I did have no idea what was going on. I didn't know who was chasing who or who was after who or what the main thing was, but it never took me out of it. I was never bored, and I was just with it. In fact, maybe out of, 9, 10 episodes we filmed so far, I don't know if I've ever been... Sometimes nowadays it's terrifying, where even if I'm into a movie, I feel the horrible ADD internet effect we all thought about, where it's like, even if I'm enjoying it, I'm like, wow, how long is this?
Over 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's terrifying. That's a massive horror that I worry is becoming more and more true. But this one, I was just with it. Every frame, every second. Like, I'm serious. Every frame looked gorgeous. There was some handcrafted detail, some glorious cheese, some beautiful lo-fi. That's why I don't even know where to start. Like, you started talking about the giant robot.
And like you said, everything's such an homage to sci-fi movies of the past.
Yeah,
he at least wanted to put some heart and soul and love into, at the very least, the images.
Yeah, and as Joe Dante said, this was the last trailer he edited for Roger Corman. He said it was a movie that was better to watch with the sound off, because it's gorgeous to look at. It has sets, it has images, it has colors. The Pride City or the costume, the
adding
stars.
a little color to the stars, that worked amazingly for me.
Yeah.
They used it often, and it was the simplest thing, but it just made me in love with the space scene from the very beginning.
Yeah, and it probably is just like Christmas lights.
I was about to say, it made me feel like they were taking Christmas lights and pushing them through a black
canvas or something.
Dude, it reminded me of Awesome Time Playing with Myself, whichever version, where
homemade,
just the love of the homemade and the craft, and almost like the coziness of creating those type of worlds and environments. Well, okay, this is the year after, you said?
Yes, this is pretty much when people were taking notice of the existence, again, of science fiction.
Star Wars is a film?
Star Wars is a novel.
Oh.
And then eventually they made a movie.
Okay.
Allow me to show my ignorance here. You said when we were discussing this in the beginning that this was still considered a huge movie, like a big budget, big special effects, big budget thing. Star Wars pretty much heralded in what became, or was it Jaws that birthed the blockbuster.
Jaws, it was the origin of the blockbusters.
And before that, what we have become used to as what we're fed every week now simply didn't exist.
Pretty much,
the big tent pole, the big extravagant event.
Yeah, because there were movies like there was the War of the Worlds in 1953, which was nice, but it was mostly an invasion. There was not so many. There was Flash Gordon, that was some adventure in space. Usually the vast majority of sci-fi was taking place on Earth. There were visitors from outer space.
War of the Worlds actually happened, though. People killed themselves over it.
Yes.
Luckily,
well,
is that true? Did someone actually
panic? Yes. I don't know if there were murders or something, but yes, that was thanks to Mr. Orson Welles.
Yeah. That fat fuck.
102, take 2.
Ah, the French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne.
102, take 3.
Action, please.
Ah, the French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence.
Well, I say that to ask that at the time, this wasn't really seen as cheese. It was kind of like, holy crap, look what they could do. Even if they were piggybacking on Star Wars, it wasn't at the time. It might have still been like, oh my god, another big crazy.
The thing is that Star Wars was seen by, at the time, it has been seen by a lot of people. So of course it was a different. That's why one of the things that they made in Star Crash, it was the spaceship turn. It's a silly thing, but not until Star Wars there was with usually every single movie with spaceship flying. It was always from the same side, and it was the background zooming in the back. In Star Wars, they started to turn and do veers and just and that was something that we've never seen before.
It's so hard. It's genuinely hard to imagine that.
Yes.
It's so difficult, especially being the type of guy that loves the big summer blockbusters and superhero movies and monster movies. It's genuinely difficult to imagine seeing Star Wars and being like, oh, I've never seen this before.
So let's go with the cast.
Yes, let's go with the cast. You could start off with the very, very beautiful lead, but what I would like to start off with is
Caroline Munro.
Caroline Munro. What I would like to start off with, because it was one of the greatest things ever, is Joe Spinell.
Yes.
As the villain, and quite possibly the pinnacle of perfect B-movie overacting.
Now let's give the Emperor a great reception. Put in use a mightiest weapon, the Doom Machine. Send it off towards the Emperor's capital world and destroy the Emperor's imperial planet, Zotha! Yeah!
This dude turns it up to 11,000 in the most beautiful, watchable, somehow both hilariously laugh-inducing but also respect-inducing, just like, oh my god, he's not in it for much. Again, same concept, not in it for long, but you know, like, just, this is where every fucking villain cliche came from, like, they're going to get the starship. Yes. Like, that.
He is a good cackler.
It's amazing. This, like we said, this is honesty, this is love for it, and you would not get this otherwise. It is so beautiful. You can tell there's passion behind it. I would love to just read verbatim the essay in here because it talks all about that, how it's a work of art.
Do it. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, so Caroline Munro, absolutely beautiful.
Yes. So beautiful and so completely untalented.
I've been at this for 12 straight hours. The radiation will burn my skin off. We're not slaves.
Again, we've seen...
Not uncharismatic.
We've seen movies where the lack of talent actress falls flat. She still comes across as...
Oh, no. She comes also because...
She comes a lot.
Yes.
So did I.
And she has in the Guinness Book of World Record for most close-ups with no blinking at all.
Really?
Yeah, no. Oh. But if you check...
I was like, wait, is it?
You're very reassuring. I assume that means we have a 10% chance of making it.
You'll be all right.
I thought I was going to go insane. That's our primary mission, to find the planet and destroy it.
I know.
Maybe they're wounded. Too weak to send a signal. I'm going to have a look.
She is Michael Caine at the umpteenth level. Cue Michael Caine explaining the blinking.
And if I keep blinking, it weakens me. But if I'm talking to you, and I don't blink, and I just keep going, and I don't blink, and I keep on going, and I don't blink, and I don't blink, and I just keep going, and I don't blink, and I keep on going, and I don't blink, and I don't blink, and I just keep going, and I don't blink, and I keep on going, and I don't blink, and I don't blink, and I just keep going, and I don't blink, and I keep on going, and I don't blink, and I don't blink, and I just keep going, and I don't blink, and I keep on going, and I don't blink. You start to listen to what I'm saying, and it makes me a very strong person, as opposed to someone who is sitting there going.
Now, of course, we then immediately have to go into her sidekick.
Yes.
The robot with the cartoon friggin' Hanna-Barbera
the
cowboy
name
voice.
L and is played by, as I know exactly.
It wasn't a real robot?
Judd Hamilton.
Judd Apatow.
Yes. George Hamilton.
One of those two.
Yes.
Seems to be a planetary artifact.
Well, it certainly is an antique.
Looks like some sort of laser spear.
This planet is inhabited. We must be very careful. We are in the evil Count's domain.
Only every now and again you will remember, oh, I'm a robot.
Yeah.
So I have the arm of a robot. But the half of the movie...
movements are so fluid beyond that. It's just like, just stop.
Yeah. Beyond the movements, the thing you have to realize, he literally talks like this.
What?
We're going to go and get this Star Emperor, and you got to watch your step there, Missy. Like, that's not even...
totally a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Yes.
Like banana splits. Doggy Daddy, remember the two dogs with the t-shirts?
And then we come to the love child of Sean Penn and Michael Douglas with the curly afro that didn't want to be an alien, so we get a human as opposed to
yes,
what the...
and his name, I will never remember him.
Butcher it!
Marjo Gordner.
Gordner? Gesundheit, damn it!
Yes.
Too slow!
His character was supposed to be an alien, but he refused to...
How does, just recast him then if he's not going to do the
You're nobody!
Yeah, seriously.
Either he was forced by the producer, or they were saying, we start shooting tomorrow, and he's the only one who knows the lines. Because, yes, at a certain point he becomes a superhuman with the eyes glowing.
He's got the... that was awesome.
Exactly.
He could see the future,
and there is no explanation for.
There's a part where it's like, you know, you can see the future. Yes, but I can't tell you. So let's just not talk about that.
Yes, that's good writing.
So you see into the future. All these years you never told me. Think of all the trouble I might have avoided.
You would have tried to change the future, which is against the law. So therefore, I can tell you nothing. Let's find the third launch.
Acton, you are something else.
The two biggest stars now of the movie were David Hasselhoff, absolutely gorgeous in his prime, in his Amazon Prime.
There were Amazons.
Yeah, there were Amazons, and he was in his prime. So
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazons were shorter than...
Pygmy Amazons.
Pygmy Amazon, yes. They were very far away.
It's pretty funny.
That's the next movie. Pygmy Amazons. Someone call Corman.
He appears pretty much halfway through the movie.
Yeah, even more, probably even later than that.
Yes, with a bizarre helmet that then vanishes. And we don't know, whatever.
Where did he even... why? Where?
Well, because...
Drove off in Kit.
It shot lasers out of his eyes?
And who was the other bit?
And then, which is surprising because he was already established, Christopher Plummer.
Oh, yeah,
as Kevin Spacey.
Who talks like this?
But...
To an empty room.
To an empty room, and he gets to say, Star Crash.
He gets to
titular line.
Yes.
Star Crash.
It's still it's a fun movie. It's entertaining. It's not boring.
No, not for a second.
You cannot tell, not even with a gun to your head, what the story is.
It was genuinely difficult. Like I said, I was enthralled, but I was like, wait, who's chasing after who? What do they have to blow up? Why are they escaping from here? But it doesn't matter. Just absolutely. I mean, there's almost nothing to say other than just watch it. Yeah. Just watch the damn movie. If you're a movie nerd, okay, I got a question. Do you think clearly we and this gentleman in here doing these words are movie nerds? Do you think non-movie nerds would be as wrapped over it, or do you think this comes back again to you kind of need to be a little bit of in the know?
I mean, for most, I think they toss us in the pile with every other cheap asylum.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't appreciate the charm and the. It's, as I told you, it's like my nephew watching The Exorcist that says we fast forward to the scary parts, but they were not particularly scary.
Who directed that?
William Friedkin. I direct The Exorcist. Here I am with William Friedkin, while I'm playing the part of William Friedkin.
In the fall of 1972, I came to Georgetown, here in Washington, D.C., to film The Exorcist. The Exorcist is a novel by William Peter Blatty, inspired by an event that took place in 1949, when Blatty was an undergraduate here at Georgetown University.
So that there is the risk that non-amateur or non-estimator of the sci-fi gender would just say dismiss it as a stupid movie when there is much worse.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot worse. I mean, a lot.
Hooked on a feeling, and I'm believing that you're in love with me. I'm hooked on a feeling, and I'm believing.
So, Dad, you need to promise me you're not going to get alcohol tonight, okay?
What?
You need to promise me you're not going to get alcohol tonight.
What?
Okay?
Oh.
Because if you get alcohol tonight, you're fired from your show tomorrow. And the doctor is coming over here in the morning to check your alcohol level. And if you have any alcohol in your system, you're going to be fired from the show. Tomorrow. You hear me? No alcohol.
I'm saying,